Hello, my name is Joel Rebecca, and before we had books and documents and stuff to record what we needed, we would just pass information down by word of mouth. And this is not until the invention of printers. And everyone has used a printer before, and I think it would be important for people to know the history of printers and where they come from. So, before there was printers, people obviously had to learn how to write, and so writing was the main way we would pass down. Well, it was by word of mouth, but writing was like just starting to become a new thing, and it was a lot easier to, retain true information than by word of mouth. And so when people started writing, they needed a way to copy whatever they were creating. So they would make, well, they invented this thing called the movable type, which is like little pieces of wood that they'd carve like letters and, characters into the wood and pretty much make like stamps. And they'd stamp the wood or paper, whatever they used. They'd stamp the wood on it so that they could create the copy of what they wanted to. There was some drawbacks with this though, because obviously wood that decays, and after a certain amount of time you won't be able to use that same stamp again. So it also took multiple people to use this thing. In the article Justified History on Punning Peripatetic Interests, published in 2019 on the Gale Library database, it says, a compositor bends over a type case holding a composing stick in one hand while picking out tiny pieces of lead with the other. A machinist pulls a heavy handle rhythmically to put pressure on a metal plate. A reader squints at thousands of lines of copy looking for letters out of place, the correction of which can take hours or even days. So as you know, the movable type, it wasn't very efficient, and it was very slow to, copy things. So they needed to think of a better way to do so. So a few years down the line, people come up with the printing press. And the printing press was the next big invention because it was a lot faster and you didn't need as many people to use the thing than the wood blocks. And here it says I have this quote that says in the article called Representing History and Printing the Book of Magic, published in 2015 on Gale's library database, it says, it is Chartier's main aim to consider the discontinuities that transform the circulation of the written word, both literary and non-literary. The invention of the printing press is the most essential of these discontinuities. So he's talking about the discontinuities of giving information by word of mouth, and people are actually starting to write things down and have it in like object form. So the printing press became the most famous way of copying documents for the next 100 years or so. Eventually, we pretty much used the printing press from then until we got to today's printers. And those are like the inkjet printers, which are the fastest, easiest, and cost-effective, printers that'll print what we need to print at a fast and easy time. And then after those, we got 3D printers, which are, even more technologically advanced. And they're relatively new, according to the article, Chapter 5, 3D printers, published in 2014, saying the 800-pound gorilla in the consumer 3D printer market is MakerBot Industries. MakerBot was founded in 2009 and began its life as a member of the RepRap community. So I just added that quote to notify the fact that 3D printers are relatively new, and in 2009, that's when MakerBot, which is a 3D printer making company, that's when they were founded. And I think it's just interesting how fast we've gone from, well, actually no, we haven't really gone fast, but I think it's just interesting how we went from a printing press to this machine that you just press a button and it prints through. So yeah. So I hope printers have they've existed for a very long time now, but pretty much in different forms. First we had the movable type, the wood blocks, you just stamps, which was really inefficient and slow. Then we got the printing press, which was a lot more efficient, but still pretty slow. And then nowadays we have the inkjet printers and 3D printers, which are the best you can get because that's how far we've gotten. So I hope you've realized the importance of printers and how they have impacted our history and how they've been used in history. So thank you for listening.